Flip Classroom Productions presents The Art of Literary Setting. Common Core State Standards. Under the Reading Literature strand for Grade 11, 3rd Standard, we ask students to analyze the impact of the author's choices regarding how to develop and relate elements of a story or drama. Where the story is set is specifically what this screencast will be analyzing and looking at. Typically, students are asked, as far as setting is concerned, to answer these two questions. When does the story take place, and where does it take place? It's at that point that most classes end and then move on into the other literary elements. In order to meet the Common Core State Standard, we have to ask ourselves the impact setting has on all of those elements and how they work together. And so we have to go a little bit deeper than when and where. And in this case, I'd like you to look at a definition I've come up with for setting in this new format. Setting is the cognitive studio of the mind's eye that is defined by the parameters of time and space. It functions as a mental construct designed to allow characters to exist in a location and move along a plot line in search of a theme. If you notice, I'm using all of the literary elements with setting because they do work together as a harmonious whole. In order to get this concept across to students, I find it easiest to turn to the visual arts because the students can see it and it becomes very concrete to them. And so we're going to begin by looking at this wonderful painting by George Seurat. And by looking at it, we first look at the characters and we identify the two characters to the right in the forefront, the man and woman, obviously as our main characters. And the piece works together because they obviously fit the time period and they obviously look like they should be there, and they're staring off into something, and they're very formal. But there's a lot of questions that can be asked, but certainly these characters fit this particular setting, and so everything works together. But what if we were to take these two characters and go into The Persistence of Memory by Salvador Dali and place these characters in this surrealistic world? Now they've been pulled from the world they know and they've been placed in this surrealistic world where time seems to be melting away. What does that do to them as a character? How does that change who they are and their themes and their plot lines? What does this do to them? So for literary analysis of setting, we ask ourselves, first of all, number one, what impact does the time period of the text have on the characters? Number two, does the setting have any symbolic relevance? Number three, does the character seem to fit into the setting? Number four, what type of mood or atmosphere is created by the location and time period of the text? And number five, how much time does the plot cover in the text? Does the author specifically state the time period or just imply it? And of course, for our analysis of the previous painting, does the character seem to fit into the setting? And of course the answer is no. But in order to take this a step further, what if we ask students then to go into either the man or the woman and ask, what is the character thinking in this new setting? What would these characters be thinking as they view this particular setting and what would be going through their mind? Again, it allows students to see that the characters must interact with the setting and the setting with the characters. They work together to create the artistic piece. Once they see this in an artistic setting and in a visual world or a visual arts, we can then shift to literary analysis. So, the big question would be, what would happen if Scout, a character from To Kill a Mockingbird, was transported to the island from The Lord of the Flies? How would this new environment take this young lady from Maycomb, and now she has to deal in this boy-dominated world in Lord of the Flies, and she has to make her way on the island. It's an interesting question, and it brings up a lot of points as to how the setting both would work with her character and work against her character, change who she is. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this screencast. Have a good day.